Hey there, everybody. Zansu here. Uh, Something that I've been wanting to continue on was with this Zansu Create segment. Uh, what this is going to be is basically we're going to have, and I'm going to make notes here. We're basically going to be doing different types of encounter building, different types of questing. And before we get into it, we're going to start with the four most common types. I completely misspelled that. Alright, so the first type, one of the more common ones, is you always do something with involving characters' backstories. And I'll go more in detail when it gets to that turn, because I'm going to do one segment for each of these, albeit each segment might be broken into several different streams. But as a note for any newer DMs, you always want to include something that makes the players feel included, because at the end of the day, they're the ones playing, they're the ones writing the story. We may create the setting, we may set the difficulties, things like that, but it is very much the player's story. We are the narrator, and we get to enjoy the story alongside of the players. So never forget to include them. A lot of people do like settings. You have your own homebrew settings, or even if you're going through modules, a lot of their dungeons and encounters are always based around the setting of the area. Uh, Once again, it's always prudent to always keep everything kind of copacetic and blending together on that front. You throw them in something that's completely wild and random, once or twice, it's something that they can appreciate. It's a different breath, fresh air. But if you're continuously creating dungeons and quests that takes them outside their setting, it starts to get to the question of why are we even in this setting? Why aren't we just participating more in that setting to begin with? Thank you, 121. I am doing well. How are you doing today? So, number 3. Let me just. Whoa! So apparently, my backspace button is now permanently. One second. It seems like my backspace button's gotten stuck. There we go. Let's. All right, it's working just fine now. So let's retype out all of this. That was definitely a very unique technical difficulty to occur. Doing well, just chilling at home. Yeah, that's always good. Special rare items. Now, these are items that maybe they're story related, maybe they're just nice items that would help the party. I'll go more in detail about them, but that is going to be part of the Vault series that I will be doing. Vaults are very fun altogether. 4. NPC enemy quest lines. Now, we've already started on this a little bit doing the Revenge of Grung. This is where you have like a specific boss type NPC in the background. Side quest, um, even in the main quest, like a lot of people use it for BBEG settings. Or even if you just want to have like a lesser boss type enemy involved. This will be the quest line where people are searching for them and then suddenly come across them. And we're going to actually continue on with the 4th one. I'm going to continue on with the Grung. First, I'm going to go through here, see what this is. Yeah, that's what that was. For a copy and paste thing. So, going to go back through. It's actually been a while. Going through here. Now, I remember we had the Bugbarians, the Goblin Riders, Goblin Flayers, Grung, Warg. I remember the basic concept. What I'm wanting to do is to kind of build upon that and maybe switch around some of these NPCs just a little bit, and that'll be the focus of today, because I like the idea that here's Grung, someone who maybe had a peaceful goblin village or goblin clan that was suddenly attacked for no reason other than the fact that they were goblins, slaughtered by adventurers. For me, that'll be part of the story because, I like doing things that really nothing's black and white, good or evil. Everything is kind of in a gray zone. With that, I think actually one of the things I did have issue with was the Goblin Flayer. See, I liked all of this. The thing I did not care for was the venomous dagger. What I'm going to actually do, and I'm not going to do it from there, I'm going to do it from NPCs. And since I am going to completely change the NPC, which will change its CR rating and everything, I'm going to temporarily remove it from that. And what I'm going to do is go through it from here, because if you can change the NPC stat block from this encounter table, however, it'll only change it for this encounter table. In order to change it for the entire system, you'd have to go under the NPC block. Once again, I will be using all the tools for Fantasy Grounds Unity to do this stuff. Part of this is just kind of showcasing all the different things I'm able to do with Fantasy Grounds, how much I enjoy using it. Which, for those of you that does not know, uh, we as a group are actually affiliated with Fantasy Grounds Unity. So there is a link on our page and on our YouTube page as well. If you go to there, you can actually go to the Fantasy Grounds store. It gives you access to purchase the thing, or you can subscribe to the monthly payment. It's actually like $3.99 a month or $39.99 to just flat out purchase. It's not that very expensive. It's actually pretty cheap, and you can also go to that store and purchase the modules and stuff in relation to that. And the other bigger thing is like there's newer upper as D&D and TTRPGs in general get more and more popular. There's up and coming DMs, people wanting to do things, people not sure what they're doing but wanting to make a game fun. I'm just throwing out some nice little tips and tricks and everything to help them out. So first thing I'm wanting to do is I'm going to remove that. I just did not care for that with him, especially because it didn't really play into the flair aspect. Once again, we're wanting to make this questline kind of NPC based, but I want to give him something that makes him more specifically flair. So he's got the improved critical. I want to do something along those lines to make him more lethal with the critical. So I'm going to give him a special little feat called Bloodthirsty Critical. Alright, so what I'm doing is giving him Bloodthirsty Critical. When it hits an opponent with a critical hit, it can make one extra attack against that opponent. But I'm going to put a caveat on here so it's not completely overpowered. You can't just continuously attack. Can only be used once per turn. Okay. I'm going to further make it a caveat because I don't want this being something where it happens as a reaction and it can all of a sudden have 2 reaction attacks because that's just time-wise not proper. Okay, so here we go. So now, since we took off the venomous dagger, we need to throw in dagger. Now, I'm not going to give him a magical dagger or anything because he's already got a lot of stuff up here. Um, but let's see, Dagger's finesse. Proficiency bonus is going to be a +2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them, it's going to be a +5. It's just going to be a regular dagger attack. Now, when we're typing these in, as far as coding goes, you don't need to go through and do the whole. Like, it doesn't need to say melee weapon attack. It just needs to say, like, melee attack or something like that. Or it can even just say attack and then have the +5 to hit. That's the part that Fantasy Grounds will pick up. And then over here on the hit, you don't necessarily even need that portion of it. As long as, and it doesn't even have to be in the parentheses, technically. But when I get done, so the part that it actually focuses on, and sometimes they'll do the averages outside the parentheses, but that in itself isn't actually even important unless you want it set to always do that average damage, which is a setting that you can do for Fantasy Grounds. I prefer not doing that. I like keeping everything kind of random. But as long as you have the dice or the number here, and then you select a type of damage and then say damage, it'll automatically prompt Fantasy Grounds to pick up on it. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the average over here just to even it out, and it'll make it actually easier on me to review the CR rating. And the way we do that, once again, is I take the 1d4, the lowest possible that I can get with that is a 1. And then the highest will be a 4. So 5 plus 3 is 8. The average of that will be, well, it would be 5, average of 5. So it would be, rounded down, it would be the 2 plus 3 would be 5. Nope, not 58. 5. Yes, it didn't have the spacing correct on that, but that still didn't really affect that too much. Now, if I didn't have the spacing correct on the piercing or damage or whatever, it also wouldn't prompt correctly. Thank you for the lurk, Suzuma. So what I'm going to do over here, and luckily, you know, oh, okay. Remember, modules. I can go up here. One of the beautiful things about Fantasy Grounds, I can go over here and look at any module that I have purchased. You got Master's Guide, Players, Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, all these maps and everything. I can always have these for reference, and I can just pull them up. One second. I apologize about that. I heard a loud thud and I thought someone might have fell and went to go check it out, and it turned out just to be a soda. Everybody's fine, but you know, things like that can often get scary. So what I'm going to do is this little red button here, I'm going to hot tab it so I can always access it whenever I want to. But I'll bring up the reference manual, And it brings me up the entire module book itself. You can read it from page 1 to page whatever. And I can go over here. Creating quick monster stats is good for helping to identify challenge ratings and stuff for monsters. It gives you all these different rules and such. So what I'm going to do right here. So we're going to look at first we're going to do defensive. Average hit points is 14. That falls into here. Armor class 15 brings it up to a quarter. There we go. Now, I'm going to go damage per round. And it always wants you to expect the best round it can do. Now, unfortunately, as a typical thing, we're going to have to do a little bonuses for the fact of the improved critical with the extra hit. But as it stands, he can do at most 12 damage per round. He's got a +5 to hit, so that's 2 1/4. I'm going to give him another bonus for improved critical, and then we're going to give him another bonus for the fact that he gets an extra attack in if he gets that critical. So that brings him at 4 1/4 total. We're going to divide that by 2 to take the average. It's going to be like 2 1/8. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep them classified as a 2. Now around here is normally 2 is like a 450, but it's actually 2 1/8. So we can include that 25 if we want to as far as the experience. And it would still rank as CR2. Now, what I'm going to do now is what I'm wanting to do is something along the lines of that Goblin Flayer, but it's going to be, I'm separating out the Flayer and the Poisoner. Wrong button. Goblin Poisoner. Now, I've gone through a few names. It could be a Goblin Chemist or Goblin Potioner, stuff like that, because he's not going to do just poisons. He's going to have a couple of things. Now, I'm going to change around some of his stats here. It's not a lot that I can do. I am going to make that a, let's make that a, no, not 4,000. Let's make that a 12. And I'm going to put 4 points into intelligence. Okay. Now, first off for this, that's going to make that +5 to a +3. Now that +3 to a 1. Which will change that to being a 4. And I'm going to do the same thing to here. +3 to hit. plus 1. And that's going to average down to 3. That does lower his basic attack. Now, this is not something that I am planning on staying out there for too long. But we got improved critical, bloodthirsty critical. I'm going to take those off because he is not a flayer, he's a poisoner. Now, bonus actions. Green, poison. And I'm going to do these based off of different types of poisons that they can do. And what I'm going to do actually is make it a trait. Put poisoner. That'll save me a lot of retyping constantly over and over. Bonus action can. It's a bonus action, not can, it will. Poison. Alright, and I'm going to change this instead to a blade. I want to do it to its weapon. What I'm doing right here is, like, if it can do like short bow. Apply the poison to its short bow. So, bonus action, green poison. I am going to actually go back over here, do the NPC typing. That way I can DC. And what we're going to do here, basic DCs is always 8 plus their proficiency bonus, in this case is 2, which is a 10, plus whatever and I'm going to use, since he's making these poisons and stuff himself, I'm going to use his intelligence, and that is going to be a plus 2. So this is going to be an 8 plus 2 plus 2, which is a 14, or no, it's a 12. I'm trying to make it a little higher than what it is. Now, I might go ahead and do that, and I want to just do an arbitrary number. 1. That's nice. That accomplished nothing. Whatever. Because we're wanting to do this for a level 10 group. And by that point, they've had a chance to beef up their con. Most of them will probably have at very minimum. So I want to make this slightly more. So what I'm going to do is to kind of show off the fact that he is studying these plants and everything. I'm going to give him an additional 2 points right here. 16. So there, we can make that DC 14 Constitution saving throw. Or, now I'm going to leave that right there. Clipboard. Copy. Now, I have this set right here, so I can always do this. And then from here, I can change it by poison. And while we're doing this, I'm going to go ahead and make some music. There we go. I hope everybody can hear the music fine, and I hope everybody can hear me fine over the music. I'm going to kind of do this off of items. Going to look at typical poisons. We got drow poison. Poison, drawer poison. Basic vial. What's this one say? 1d for poison damage. Let's see what drow poison has to say. So what I'm going to do, and it's actually pretty important to type it out like this. Sorry about that. I had to do some stuff for the background monitoring. All right. Now it is important to actually prompt it like this, because you got to do the DC 14 Constitution saving throw. This tells it this is what they're saving. This is the damage that they take. and then is poisoned for 1 hour, which will prompt it. Now, here's the thing: it's not flagging it here, but now I might have done this a little backwards. So what I'm going to do, just to double check, is I'm going to actually bring out the combat tracker. I'm going to apply Goblin Poisoner over here. Alright. Effect Poison. Now you see where it has that H? That's it flagging that it takes half damage on a success. So that's where the target takes half as much damage. It has to be worded like that. Now, let's pull that out. What I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to give them multiple poisons instead of just being like a one-time thing. Now, yellow poison. Now this part gets a little tricky. I'm going to just go ahead and include make sure that's typed out correctly. Yeah. Now this part gets a little tricky because in order to prompt it, different things get different prompts. So on here where it says is poisoned for 1 hour, this might not work the same way for okay, so on that one it did work. One minute. On a success, the target takes half as much damage. Targets. I don't want to make this a closed loop where they're just paralyzed and never able to do anything again. They can get saves in order to exit. And what this does is anytime they take damage, it's going to send a shot back to their system and they can fight against the paralysis. And then they can remake the save at the end of each of their turns to end the paralysis. So even if he gets a target with it once, he can actually get it for one turn, hopefully. For him, hopefully. For the prompt for this one, what I'm going to actually do is go to an NPC that already does this. Because I'm going to make him fall unconscious, basically a sleep potion. Okay, so I'm going to go with is unconscious. Make sure I get the spelling right, otherwise it won't matter. S-C-I-O-U-S. Now I wanted to include this part because this is still, when you're doing something to put people to sleep, you're eating up their turns, their actions, building action economy. These are people that are, or these are goblins that they're not meant to go 1v1. They're meant to be working as a unit, as put with the pack tactics. And I'm actually going to have these teamed up with the flayers. Now I'm going to give him this, and I'm stipulating on all these as one a day, so once they use them it's done. That being said, if the NPCs are able to knock them out and kill them before they use their poisons, then yeah, it only stands to reason that the PCs would be able to get the poisons from them. But in order for like inventory control, I am going to do one a day, so they only have one of each. Okay, so what I'm wanting is not on notes, but items. And we're going to do this as a basic health potion. Just basic potion of healing, which is 2d4 plus 4, I believe. 2d4 plus 2. I'm going to do the plus for his intelligence modifier on this, since he's the one making it. Now I'm going to, can be used as a bonus action on self. What we got for right here? What was it? Plus 3. Now you do this and you gotta target heals by 2d4 plus 3 hit points. That prompts it. Over here, that's the part that prompts it. Apparently not so well. So I'm gonna try it like this. Healing the target. I'm gonna lock that up right fast. See if that helps. Something that would most likely have regains. That's the one. Regains. 2d4 plus 3 hit points. Let's bring you back out here. I'm going to delete you off the combat tracker. And now I'm going to put this updated version. Yeah, here we go. Now, I want to give him a few skills We're going to take away stealth. And what I'm going to do is, it's just simpler for me. I could do other ways of double checking what medicine and whatever it goes through. Medicine's wisdom and nature is intelligence. So medicine plus 1. Nature plus, that's intelligence, 5. Now this is for in an instance. These mostly get used in instances where the party's traveling out and they happen to capture one or they befriend one. Depends on your story. That could very well be a case. But in those situations, they have the skills already set. Now, I do not believe any of this has actually changed his challenge rating. But we're going to verify. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first I'm going to go here, 14 with the 15 armor class. That's a quarter. I'm going to give it a half because it has the ability to heal. So we're going to say right here, 1/2. Now we're going to look at damage. So it can do 8, and then we average out to 2d4. So when we're averaging out the 2d4, it's like 2 plus 8, which is 10, 5. So we're going to do 8 plus 5 is 13 damage. Plus it's that, save DC is that. So it did actually change. But we are going to go up 1, so it's going to be 2 1/4. So it's going to be basically 1 1/8. These aren't going to be very stocky. So 1. Or it was going to be 2 1/2, so it's going to be 1 1/4. Still, we're going to go down with the 1. Now that's going to be 200, which the quarter is 50. I can at this point just do like a 250 to give them a proper thing there. And there is our goblin poison. Alright. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I had 4 of these originally. So I'm going to put 2 in here. I'm going to put 2 in here. Now we're going to refresh this. It actually went down just a little. Later on, I'll get into the fact that maps are just as much a part of the encounter as the NPCs are. So it might have gone down a little bit, but depending on how you place them on the encounter map and the way you build the map itself, you can actually make it 5-10 times more challenging for them than what they actually are. And that'll be something we'll be covering in later sessions. Now, one thing I'm wanting to do here, I'm going to replace one of these goblins. NPCs. The goblin boss. Let's look what that is. No. Okay, so I will go and do some comparisons. 2d6, 66. So I'm going to make these, what I'm about to do, 5d6. Shaman. You know what? Let's see what we got here, because I'll probably just do a lot of these stats. The exact same stats. Slightly better strength. You know what? Let's start off with that. What I'll do is, because I didn't really want to, there's a lot of changing around versus I can just take one of these and do some slight changes. Shaman. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move around a few things. Make that 12. Raise up the wisdom by 2. Make that an 8. Raise up the wisdom by 2. Make this an 8. Raise up the wisdom by 2. Okay, and leave that alone. This. I am going to mess with that a little bit later. And I like specifying as an action. That way if I have something that does things as a bonus action, it doesn't include the multi-attack function. Okay. We'll go ahead and take out the scimitar. And the scimitar. The javelin and the scimitar. We're going to take that. Not going to include that. Okay, now I'm adding the spellcasting feature. Now for this, once again, there's a certain way that you can prompt it. And I'm going to use this as a reference, but I'm going to pull up my note back up. because this part is going to be very heavily on this, having to copy paste. And what I'm doing on the 6th level, I'm going off based around its hit die. That might not be entirely accurate. Some NPCs do it differently. Like he's 1st level, but he's got 2 hit die, which would technically put him as 1 level of something else, 1 level regular. I'm going to leave the goblin at 6th level for now. And what I'm doing is I'm going to type all this out. Okay, I want you to move now. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm gonna leave that blank for now. Along with that. Because that's going to be based around his proficiency bonus, which may change by the time we do the that's one of the challenges to doing spellcasting NPCs. It may change the proficiency bonus by the time you finish doing the challenge rating. So for these, I want them to be kind of druidic. So first off, I'm gonna look, because I want it to be druidic, so I'm going to base it around a druid. I'm gonna give them like druid spell slots and druid spells. He knows 3 cantrips. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him spells for all of his spell slots. So 4, 3, 3. Oh. Okay. So that would be a total of 10 spells, as opposed to spellcasting tells you how many. Your wisdom modifier plus your druid level. So normally it would have 6 plus 2 is 8. I'm going to go ahead and give them 10 to give him more versatility. Three slots. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just do one per spell slot to give them a little bit of versatility. I completely forgot. I think it was 3 cantrips. It was either 3 or 4. 3. So here's one of the things that Fantasy Grounds definitely helps. I can go over here to spells when I want to select spells. Source. Go down here, just click Druid. Everything available to a Druid. And I can separate it by spell level. So we got Control, Flames, Create Bonfire, Druid Craft, Frostbite, Guidance, Gust, Infestation, Magic Stone, Mending, Mold Earth, Poison Spray, Resistance, Shape Water. I am not going to do a Druid, a Shaman without Shillelagh. That is going to be a thing. I like the idea of them having Infestation. Now we get one more. Mold Earth. That is something that's going to be important for him. So now I'm going to go ahead and do these in alphabetical order. And all I'm really doing at this point, so put Shillelagh here, put Mold Earth here, and Infestation here. And all you're really doing at this point is just making sure you spell these correctly, which I've already messed up on. Comma. I'm done with that. Comma. Done with that. Now, spells. First level. I want 4 of these. I want him to have Cure Wounds. I want him to have entangle. Snare. I love doing snare. It is a beautiful trap spell. I'm going to do that here actually. We have Thunder Wave, Fairy Fire, Detect Magic, Creator Show Water, Turn Person. Let's absorb elements. I like that. So we're going to go with these four. So, snare. This is obviously going to be first. Cure wounds. Yeah, A, B, C. Oh, I want to do them. I got them backwards. So I'll do snare. Entangle. Cure wounds. Now, you don't necessarily have to do them in alphabetical order. That's just something for me. Absorb elements. Wounds. Go up here. Okay. Entangle, comma, space. Snare often gets overlooked. I've actually had encounters where I've completely messed up everybody just doing a preemptive snare. It gets overlooked a lot just because it's something seen a lot of times as being kind of easy to get through, and plus it takes prep work. It's a preparation. It takes 1 minute to cast and 8 hours it lasts. If you're in an area where you know people's going to be coming through, you can set traps. And those traps will be good for 8 hours. So it gets overlooked a lot, but it is a very good spell for, if used correctly, it can really mess people up. Second level. Let's check out Bark Skin. Okay, Bark Skin looks promising. Going in here, let's look at Grung, because this guy's going to be around Grung. Yeah, we're going to put Bark Skin. Ooh, between Earthbind and Enhance ability. Earthbind's really good if you know you're going to go against flying people. Yeah, very good if you go. Enhance ability. I want enhanceability. Flame blade. This will be interesting. Heat metal. This will be something. It's gonna have heat metal. That's but I saw lesser restoration. That is something it would technically want. Being the shaman of the clan. But beautiful thing about the druidic ones is they prepare, so you'd always be able to re-prepare. So we got heat metal up here. I just love this song, by the way. Thank you for the hydrate. I actually just hydrated. Give me a little more right now. I love this song, by the way. Bark skin. Now, call lightning, conjure animals, daylight, dispel magic, feign death, flame arrows, melting stone, plant growth, protection from energy, sleet storms, speak of plants, tidal wave, wall of water, water breathing, water walk, wind wall. I'm gonna start off with wind wall. I like that one. I'm going to take this off because I want to, yeah, fortunately it's not very druidic. But you know what, it's my goblin shaman. He's going to learn counterspell. Alright, call lightning. What's erupting earth? That is a possibility. Pain death, flame arrow, melting stone. That one actually is an action. You know what? Yeah. We're gonna have Wind Wall, Meldon Spawn, and Counter Spell. Actually, I'm back and forth on that one. Let's flame arrows. That's a promising one. Feign death. Why wouldn't you just... I don't want daylight because they have dark vision. Call lightning wouldn't do because he's in a cave a lot. So melting the stone between flame arrows. I think melting the stone would do the best for what I'm wanting. But once again, if it comes up that I wind up not using meld in the stone or something like that, that'll be fine too. Because it's not to use every spell every chance you can get. So I'm looking at his spells, and I can tell you right now, he's not going to raise his challenge rating above a proficiency bonus 2. So I'm going to go ahead and continue everything for proficiency bonus. Spellcasting. So I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna +2 proficiency bonus, plus this on, +4 to hit. Now, copy. We're going to paste. I'm going to delete these extra spaces that always appear for whatever reason. Now, at this point, I am going to right click, and you see this little thing looks like a wand. It says parse NP spells. Click on it, spells, and it automatically goes to slots. And his infestation takes 1d6. Must succeed on Constitution savings throw. You do that, it says DC 12, which is his DC. Now let's look for something that would be +2 strength, so it recognizes his wisdom as that. I don't think I have anything that specifically does a 2-hit. Nope, all of his are saves. But I can judge on everything else and know that it's gotten everything else parsed correctly. So it'll automatically do everything on that. Now we're going to go through here. Alright, this is going to start off as a strength. So button. Now, quarterstaffs are one of those versatile weapons. For reference, you can come up here and go to items. You just click on one of these quarterstaffs. It'll tell you right now. Versatile 1d8. So 1d6. In this case, it would be -1 because he's got very poor strength. Bludgeoning damage, or 1d8 -1. Bludgeoning damage if used with 2 hands. I could do the averages. I'm going to go ahead. Oop. So 3 -1 is 2. 4 -1 is 3. Not 32, 3. So now I'm going to apply another one. And I'm going to specify Alright, before I go into this, I am going to actually go back into the spells. I could just type it out, but that was just as easy for me. Use your spellcasting for attack and damage rolls, and damage die becomes a D8. Okay, so we're going to use that +2. +2 is +4. Hit. Reach 5 foot. 1 target. Hit. Now, this automatically becomes 1d8 plus 2. Let's go ahead and resolve this. So 6. Now, I'm going to put something else because it's going to be a magic type. So I'm going to put magic, bludgeoning, damage. So I'm looking at this. Melee wise, the most I can count on him is to do is 12. Meanwhile, spell wise, I think he's got one spell that actually hits. That's concentration. I don't think he can do. So that's 3d8 fire damage versus 3d8 bludgeoning. So either way, it's going to be 3d8, which averaging out would be 3 plus 24, 27 divided by 2. Run it down is 13 damage. Versus 12. So 13 is obviously going to be the bigger one. Now, so done with all of this. And what we're going to do at this point is I'm going to double check come down here. So 13 damage is what we decided. Spell save 14. That's roundabouts because you go down for every 2. So we got a 1. Armor class. We're gonna go over here. That is 11. I'm going to make a specification. (16) was spark skin. So hit points 21. 11 would technically be a 0. But if he uses his spark skin, we're looking at 16. We count that in. So we're looking at a 1 1/4 slightly over a half in the melding point. I'll classify it as a half, but I will add up the experience points to make up the 3/4. Now, that actually raised it up. So, so right now, we have the NPCs that we want to use. This is the grand total. I'm going to So what I'm thinking is I will actually next time So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and call it here, and that we've got the NPCs. And I think this is a good place to have a stopping point. Next time what we'll do is we will start doing the actual maps and dividing units out into I'm going to redo this, his calling card first contact. I'm going to actually take out both these goblin flares out of it for what I'm wanting to do. And I'm going to basically create a thing where in the middle of the night is the 10 goblins, the goblin rider, and the bugbarian are going into, let's reset that. That sets down that challenge rating quite a bit, but this is a middle of the night thing, and I'm going to set it in the middle of the night so that when people are taking their long rest, they have to remove their armor in order to benefit from the rest. And I'm going to set it at a random point during their long rest when I do it. So what we'll do is we'll build a map next time that is going along with this, with the town or village. We're going to refer to it as, I guess, Nazaire. That might be what I go with. And what we'll do is was do some lore stuff too with it to explain why everybody's there for the one shot and everything. And from there, I'll start dropping in. And one of the things about this is like this. I have this completed, so I can put that there. And then whenever we come up to play, I can put like the maps and everything all on this one note for the story. And then it will take some navigating, but this will be like a table of contents. And whenever we actually do the one shot or whatever, I will just have this up and I'll be able to pull up everything that I need in order for everybody to go through with it. Which is one benefit that I definitely love with Fantasy Grounds. It's like I have a table of contents, I have the library, I have everything I need right there. But yeah. Excuse me. Next time we will be focusing on doing some of the story stuff as to why they're in a location, doing the setting part of the encounter. We're going to do the why are they there? Why are the NPCs there? Drop a little bit of lore into it. And then we're going to build a map. And we're going to start off with just the one map, just the one of the town itself. And then from there, we'll move into doing another session where we'll build the actual Goblin Den map itself, which is something I'm looking forward to doing with everybody. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Thank you for coming in. And if you haven't ever checked out Fantasy Grounds before and this looks like a platform that you're interested in using, once again, check on the link. We have a link on our YouTube page and our Twitch page that will take you directly to the store itself. And you can pick up modules, you can pick up all sorts of stuff. You can pick up the subscription if you'd rather pay a monthly fee of $3.99, or you can buy the entire license itself and pay $39.99, and that's a one-time payment, lasts you for life. It does have different levels that you can go through, and that is something that you can look into, compare the different levels that you want. But definitely check it out, and if you use the link on our pages, it actually supports us as well, which helps when it comes to things like I'm wanting to hire artists at some eventual point in order to cover some of the character art and NPC arts, but art gets expensive, especially when you're hiring out for it. So it would be really helpful on us to get any kind of support we could get on that front. But this is Zansu with I thought I had the mic set up to that, but this is Zansu with Tabletop Hazards, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day.